Hey, thanks for listening to Panic at the Costco. My name is Scott McGinnis. I'm here with my friend Erin Sorrow, and we're quarantined, and we thought it would be a great idea to do a podcast about that. So we had a couple ideas for the names. So on the first episode, you're going to hear us talk about the quarantined, but we've decided on Panic at the Costco. So Erin, do you want to tell everybody what kind of this podcast is going to be about?
Yeah. So you know what? Scott and I were talking one day and we were, information was coming at us rapidly, right? Our lives have all changed within weeks, within days, minutes, seconds. And we just don't know what we can hold on to other than community and kindness and just talking things out. And that's what we're here to do. We need to talk things out. And we figured, you know what? Other people might want to talk things out too. See how other people are feeling. I know I do. Because you know what? We all don't want to be alone in our feelings. So this might be sometimes serious, sometimes funny, sometimes both, sometimes who knows. But I think this is an opportunity for everybody to just kind of like get together and rally around like, hey, we're all humans and we're all kind of feeling the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be having people on that we know, friends of ours, and some people are going to be in the medical field. So we'll get to hear what they're going through. We're going to hear from people from other parts of the country. And the idea is that we will record this and release it pretty quickly so that everyone can sort of, I'll cut that part. Do it and release pretty quickly. And we're just sort of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit here. This idea came pretty quickly, but we're so glad you've joined us for it. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. So
this is the real world.
This is the real world. So with no further ado, this is going to be the first episode that we recorded. Again, we called it the Quarantined at first because we were always going to have 4 people. We probably will have 3 or 4 people, maybe more in the podcast on the podcast, but we don't want to be tied down to that. So hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Erin.
Oh no! Plus, we took a very informal, very scientific informal poll, and Panic at the Costco won hands down. So we got to go with the people. Won.
That's right. We're here for the people. Hey, let us know how you like the show. Leave comments. Leave us ratings if you want to. Actually, if they're good. Otherwise, private message us and tell us what you don't like. But yeah, this will be a lot of fun. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy Panic at the Costco.
Don't sue us, Costco.
Speaksies.
Yeah, I know.
This is the True Podcast.
True Podcast.
About a few acquaintances
Forced to stay at home and have their feelings recorded.
Find out what happens when people stop going out.
And start getting real.
About toilet paper.
We're your hosts, Scott and Erin.
This is Panic at the Costco.
All right. Can you guys hear me if I still talk?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I'm so happy.
Yes.
Do you have a drink? Bring bowling in here. I want to say that's a lot. What's up, man?
Hi.
Hey.
Erin,
First of all,
Scott.
Nice to meet you.
I'm so glad to meet you virtually. I respect your Roadhouse knowledge and your grills.
He respects your Roadhouse knowledge and your grills.
Oh, he can't hear me.
No.
Cool.
He's like, what?
No, but Scott, now you know he's real because I know you've never met him.
Yeah, I did wonder if it was a real
Thanks,
person.
babe. Love you.
Boy, it must be nice to have someone to bring you a drink.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, what's this called again, Erin?
Quarantined.
Quarantine.
I
So
like it.
4 people picked to live in a law. Wait, no. That's
Have their lives taped. What happens
For-
when people stop being? Oh no, that's
Stop being polite and start getting real. The real world.
real stuff.
Aw,
But no, this is what happens when people are
memories.
quarantined.
Could you get the phone? Sorry, that was my favorite.
Oh, yes.
True story.
I'm already loving this.
Oh my gosh.
So 4 people quarantined. So how's everybody doing? let's start with anybody that wants to talk.
I'll start by saying that every single work call that I've had has started the same way with, oh, how are you guys doing? And it's like about same thing, like 4 or 5 seconds of silence. And then you hear like a, good.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you say?
Yeah.
I could go into a whole spiel about how I'm feeling panicked and feeling anxious and feeling all of the different things, positive in some ways, but I think that there's a collective energy of just, I don't know, bad, good, thankful,
Weird.
horrible, weird.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all of those things. All of those things.
it is.
We're in uncharted territory. That's the conversation I just had with my kid's mom. We were talking about with school getting canceled today. I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, how's this gonna work? It's like, are the kids gonna have to redo this year?
I
Like,
know.
so I just said we're in uncharted territory, man. Who knows? So
We're
there's
Yeah.
no answer.
figuring shit out I feel like every 5 minutes we have to figure something else out.
It's just all changing. So I think that's part of what's so bewildering about it. It's all just changing really, really quickly. Like I was on Friday, I've been trying to stay away from the news to a good extent because there's just only so much you can take. But on Friday, I was reading something on, I don't know, online, and then I clicked on another article and it was from Monday. So it was March 20th, and it was an article written on March 16th. And I was like, oh, this is irrelevant. I mean, like, just so much had changed in
Right.
4 days that something, it basically didn't, it was almost like it didn't mean anything anymore. And it was like, it's all just happening so quickly. And like, I feel you, Scott, on the thing with kids with school. I have 3 kids who are 12, almost 11, who's going to have to experience a birthday during this, which sucks, and 9. And we all just kind of like stared at each other when I told them. I was like, hey, you guys, we're not going back to school for the rest of the year. And it was just kind of like I don't know, I'm still processing it. Like,
I'm with you there,
I'm,
processing.
I'm not sure what to make all of it. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, I know for my kids, that was the moment when they took it very seriously. It was like
Yeah.
2 weeks is one thing.
Yeah.
But when I had said, I didn't even tell them about the rest of the year off yet. I think their mom did. But when I said it's going to be 2 more weeks, my son we were outside playing basketball. And he just stopped and he goes, what? And
Yeah.
he's like, that's a month. I'm like, yeah. And then I realized I probably should have not just been so cavalier with, hey, man, you're off another 2 weeks, because that's where it hits them, where it hits home for them is this is really weird what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
they don't completely get it. I mean, my kids are 2, 4, and 8, and the 8-year-old is, he gets it, but they don't understand the severity of it, and they don't,
Right.
right now they're just home with mom and dad all the freaking time, and
I
so
feel that. I
we're
know.
working from home. We both work from home. We've worked from home for the last 10 years. That's nothing new, but having
Right.
a 2-year-old with me at all times is like a challenge I have never had, and
Yeah.
that's been crazy. And plus I'm like checking the news every 2 minutes, so who has time to work?
I've been so distracted. I've been horribly unproductive lately.
Well, then when you throw in planning podcasts, I mean, no.
Right.
Yeah.
So Lauren, you said you've been working from home for 21 days. Did you like already have some sort of illness or something, or your employer was just that like quick to the draw?
So they were pretty quick. I work for a large corporation, so they started sending like 30% of people
Wow.
to work from home a few weeks ago, and I was one of the first ones to go home. And at first they said they were testing the plan, but as things change so quickly, next thing we know, they're doing the plan.
Stay home. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was going to be like, we're just going to test our plan, see if we can still perform all of our functions at capacity, and just see what happens. And all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, no, we're like doing this now. So yeah, so I've been working from home 21 days. It's kind of weird seeing it all evolve. Now we're companies at like 50% work from home, and it's going to be more soon. And I don't know, it's already been so weird. Like, I miss my coworkers so much. The other day, I got really upset that my plants on my desk are going to die.
Oh.
Because there's no one left in the office to take care of them. But one thing that makes my job really enjoyable is the people that I sit next to all day. And they're not on the team. I don't work with them. I just happen to sit around them. And I miss them a lot. We've been video chatting a bit just to keep in touch, but it's
not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
What about your lunch group? Because don't you have like a long-standing lunch club?
Yeah, I've been eating lunch with the same 3 women every day for 10 years.
Oh, I love
so
that.
those are the ones we've been group chatting with. That, and our friend Harry sometimes comes along too. So the 5 of us have been video chatting, trying to stay in touch. But we heard that soon we might not be able to, because the video chat takes up so much bandwidth that it's straining the network, and soon they may ban video chat because they need more bandwidth for everyone trying to get things done from elsewhere. So
oh my goodness,
do that on our work computer. I mean, of course, we could always set up Skype or Zoom and stuff like that to chat. But
is anyone else a little surprised that the internet itself hasn't like collapsed?
Exploded? Yeah.
And I think the real lesson here is that everybody's on the internet anyway all day, right? Like, because people were saying, I remember people at work are like, we're not sure what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be phone on the internet. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. But we're all well, I guess not streaming television shows and stuff. But I know for me, I am working at home. Like, I am not watching Maury Povich. Like, I do still watch not Wheel of Fortune. Price is Right, because you have to when you're at home, right?
Price is Right is awesome.
Just kidding. I don't actually watch it anymore, but that was the go-to when you were at home sick, right?
It was the Price is Right. Oh my God, Pressure Luck. We could go on and on about all of the USA game show.
$25,000 pyramid.
Did you guys know that I was on Wheel of Fortune? Scott, did I tell you this?
You did tell me that.
Did we talk about this?
Yes, we did. This was a big setup to.
I know. So I just feel like I had to put that in there. It was a highlight of my life.
Is this episode somewhere on the internet where we can watch it?
So it used to be, and I can't find it anymore. And I don't know if I feel like I maybe had it on CD somewhere. It was 2010.
It was
Were we still using
internet.
CDs in 2010? I guess we are. But there's some guy out there who like transcribed the episode like play by play. And so that is out there somewhere, which really cracks me up. But anyway, it was fun.
Did
but
you
game
win?
shows that I won like $9,500. Yeah. I didn't win the whole game, but I did win that much. So I was psyched about that. Paid off my student loans.
Wow.
That's awesome.
See, that's what I always loved about Wheel of Fortune is that even everybody won some money. Whereas Jeopardy, I mean, now Jeopardy, you do get a token amount, but yeah.
Yeah.
You get 2,000 place and 1,000 for third place, but it's still like one. You don't get to.
You're like, that doesn't afford my dinner. Okay. No.
Yeah.
But
punks. It's LA. But anyway, moving on.
So we have a celebrity in our midst. Let's just get that out of the way. She's game show famous.
So
yeah.
I love it. I love game shows.
But yeah, why were we talking about things during the day?
Just because we're sitting at home, and like I know for me, I'm actually busier than I've ever been. Like things are crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at my kitchen table, straight up working. It's not, farting around at home all day.
Yeah.
So as far as the internet usage, I think for me it's a net even.
Yeah.
I think it's streaming and Netflix, and everyone was saying that, Netflix is, I don't know the technical workings behind it, but that people were streaming too many
They had to
videos
reduce
or what
bandwidth.
something happened with that.
They had to
Okay.
reduce their maximum bandwidth in Europe or something, but it doesn't even matter because I think it's very negligible in what you actually see with the naked eye. So
Yeah.
people will be all right. But so I guess as far as like working from home, I mean, is everybody doing okay with that? Like, do we feel like there's this thing about essential employees and essential companies. Now I know that like Erin, you pretty much freelance, and I think Allie, you kind of do too, right?
Yeah, I've been working at home for 9 years, so it's a lot of. I'm an editor. All I need is a computer and an internet connection, and I'm good to go. So same
Yeah.
old business for me. But having the kids home, and apparently I'm a homeschool teacher now, so that's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's added a new layer of like panic.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have named this Panic at the Costco.
Panic at the Costco was the second.
That was one of the Erin's other ideas.
Oh, I love it.
love that. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, there's still time to change it, guys.
Yeah, totally.
Can we
So-
still put up the 4 fingers at the beginning though? Because that was cool.
Or Q. I got to make a Q.
Oh. That's
You
an
know?
upside down bird. You just
He was like this. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got to make a Q.
I used to know sign language. I don't remember
Oh,
much
sign
anymore.
language. Wait.
These are just gang signs you're throwing up right now.
Q. I think it's Q, like that. Something
Okay.
like that.
J.
Work from
I
home.
took it-
Mom.
I
gangsta.
took-
N-O-E.
Yeah, boy, yeet.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You just went through the whole sign language alphabet to not remember. That's
I got to Q, and is it
No, because it's
like
N-O-P-Q.
dude. She's like
I'm almost
Q,
positive
yeah.
it's this.
okay.
Yes,
Right?
we all figure that out.
R
Okay.
okay.
Or Q.
S-T-U-V-W
X,
X,
Y, and then
X,
Z. You
yeah.
just draw Z.
I and then Z.
Good stuff.
So Allie, how has this affected your
Turtle.
music? How is this? I mean, obviously you can't play gigs.
Yeah, apparently I used to be in a band. We had 2 big festivals we were going to play at on the 14th to benefit freaking children with cancer. Okay, I was mad that got canceled. I mean, because it was playing at Innsbruck. It's a big stage and stuff, but it's like obviously the cause. Then I got angry. I'm like, okay, now we're messing with kids with cancer. Like, this is not cool. And then this past weekend on the 21st, we were supposed to play for a benefit for the SBCA. We're supposed to play at another festival in April. Everything's been postponed. I don't even know when we'll next. We have stuff booked throughout the whole year, and I don't know when we'll next play.
Yeah.
It
feels
2
like-
of us are in healthcare, and so have been exposed to a lot of people, and so it's just not even like, it sounds so lame, but it's not even really safe to get together to practice. So we were texting about it earlier tonight. I mean, it's just crazy.
I feel so badly for these healthcare workers, and I have about like 10 of them on my street.
Yep.
And they're all, a lot of us neighbors are out walking around. I don't even see them at all. Their house looks empty.
Yeah.
They're just self-quarantining or they're at work. And it's such a sad situation with everything with the masks and the lack of sanitizers and all this stuff. And every time I think about, oh my God, my 2-year-old is asking for another goddamn snack. What am I gonna do?
Why do you have to keep eating?
It's real. I know. Then I think, and I put things in perspective. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, they don't have masks and they're delivering a baby, and I feel bad. Like they're risking their own families. They're sending their kids away to live with the grandparents for a while or an adult. And so like, it's moments like that for me that kind of help me get off the ledge in my own head and say, God, think about the world's problems for a minute and just get her another blueberry bar. You're okay.
For real. My husband's in this weird in-between spot. He's a hospital chaplain for Bon Secours hospitals. And so he's in and out. He actually was just in tonight dealing because people are still having other health issues that have nothing to do with coronavirus. It's not like strokes and heart attacks get put on hold, or people are still dying, and they just want they want comfort. He doesn't even have to be praying with anybody necessarily. They just want comfort to come in. And I worry with him being in and out of the hospital and then coming back into our house. I'm like, should he be sleeping downstairs? Like, should he be in a certain part of the house? My kids are already like really having a hard time with this, obviously not being able to be with their friends and all the rest of it. And I don't know, it's hard to know. We don't have a template for this.
Yeah, and you said before about how the news will be from yesterday, and you're like, oh, there's no point in reading this because you're already outdated. But it's also like, I don't know what to actually believe. Like, I don't like, I want to believe experts, but experts even are divided on everything except for like staying home and wash your hands. And so it's like, okay, I'll do that thing.
That I can do.
And everything else, I'm going to try not to freak out about the different projections I see, because who knows? I mean,
I did see a meme. It was very funny, and it said something like, humans, you can save the human race by sitting at home and laying on your couch.
Right.
Yeah, we got
like, this. Don't screw this up.
Right.
Like our grandparents were fighting in World War II, and we have to sit on our couch.
Yes.
I know. And
Chris, go ahead.
I was saying, we have like internet. We've got streaming services. We've got internet games. We've got video games. We've got regular television. We've got laptops where we can video chat with people, and we're still all having a hard time. So we could have it a lot worse than we do. But it doesn't mean it's not hard.
Chris Cuomo was talking on CNN about like all the measures we've incorporated into society to make sure that we like don't leave home, like Amazon Prime delivery and like, food takeout, like all this stuff to make sure we don't have to leave our house. And he's like, now you're actually being asked to stay home and you're freaking out. Like,
I felt like I'm sitting here like, I don't feel good. I haven't been out for 3 days, and I'm like such a wimp. I'm like, this is not good. And then one of my friends posted on Instagram like a picture of Anne Frank, and it was like, Anne Frank was in a room for like 731 days avoiding that. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go watch Love Is Blind real quick and just shut my trap and stop feeling bad about this whole thing. But
I know, that's what I think. I'm like, oh my gosh,
How are you guys escaping? Like, what are you doing to kind of get some relief or like a break from the news, the social media, like everything? Like, is something working for you besides like what's in our cups? Anything else? Because I would love to know too. I'm all about sharing helpful hints here. So
I'm not much of an outdoorsy person, but Friday when the weather was gorgeous, I spent as much of the day outside on the porch as I could.
Yep.
That really helped a lot. Get a little sunlight, it was warm out, which I love warm weather, and that was really nice. But the weather's getting worse again, so that's not always an option.
Yeah, I'm more of an indoorsy gal myself, and I've been trying to just sit outside if it's nice, because I feel like, all right, come on, sun, help the mood here, give me some vitamin D, just recenter a little bit. But it's hard. I mean, it's like the usual things that I would do to give myself an escape and to give myself a boost, like, aren't there for the most part. It's like I would go play with my bandmates. Well, we can't right now. Or like, I do go for a walk. I go for long walks by myself. I usually listen to Origin of Species, just saying. And I'm not just saying that. I really honestly do.
I appreciate that.
They're like the perfect length for my loop that I have.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's great.
Well, thank you for that plug.
But it's true. So yeah, that's really hard. Or I would like, I don't know, do other stuff with like friends, or I don't know.
Have you guys tried doing like the so I do the outside stuff too now. I'm not an outside guy, but have you all tried doing like the coloring books or puzzles, or like because I have found myself staring at my phone
like a zombie.
And I mean, I'm already bad at that, but now it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, have y'all found other things other than like screens to do. I mean, walking around is good. But I want to try to do start actually reading books more. Like
Books.
I know, right? Like
What are those?
I used to like to read a lot, and then I forgot how.
I'm in the middle of like 2 books and have been for 6 months, and I still have
me
not
too.
picked them up through this. I guess that, and I do love jigsaw puzzles, but also haven't done that yet. I think I'm saving them for when I'm like a couple more weeks and I'm like really about to lose my mind.
Yeah.
Right. When it starts being like a Castaway
Yes.
Wilson situation.
Like I need some things to look forward to. So something in a couple of weeks that I'm going really nuts, I can do a jigsaw
For when
puzzle.
it gets real bad.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if the power went out, because that's.
No, don't say that.
I'm just
Whole
saying.
house generator, come to my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're not allowed to, though. That's the problem.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we need to get protective equipment to do that.
Have you guys?
This is my son, Emmett. He's saying good night.
Hi.
Let your mom hang out.
Love you.
Yeah.
Before you guys got on, my 2-year-old was screaming as she was going to bed. So I was like, "Hey, Scott, do you hear that in the background?" He's like, "Oh, it's good, Ami. It's perfect for this recording."
Squeals
Yep.
and shrieks and.
Well, so not to be corny, there's a reason why I wanted to do this, because I am going a little crazy sitting in this house by myself, and I'm like, hey, I can get people to talk to me. Let's do a podcast.
I'm down, man. I can get other adults to talk to me. It's nice.
Adults.
So, okay, let's go back to the homeschooling thing. So I had no idea how intense it was going to be. Last week was one of the most overwhelming weeks of my life, because work and school for 2 kids, 9 and 12. But the silver lining, and the thing that I'm trying to really focus on and really treasure, is I'm having these moments with them that I would have never had. So like, they're asking me questions that normally would go to the teachers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're walking around outside, we're riding bikes, and we're having conversations we would not have had otherwise. And, as exhausted and crazy as the whole thing feels, I'm like trying to look at it as, hey, this is something I wouldn't have had otherwise. And who knows how long this is going to last. It may be 4 or 5 more months. It may be 3 weeks, and then this is going to feel like a really silly podcast idea. But anyway, so I'm trying to find the positive in it, but there are definitely moments where it's hard. So
it's tough with kids because I'm not a trained educator, and I'm like, okay, here, you're scrambling. Last week especially was a total scramble, because you're in the midst of working, the teachers are sending you things, you're looking through the stuff, you're like, here, go visit the Smithsonian online, where's your math homework from last week, and I honestly had to sit down with my husband on Saturday and say, okay, we need to get all of these links straight. We've got to come up with a little bit of a lesson plan. And I am more type A with that stuff than my husband, who's like, so what about more screen time? I'm like, no, they can't have all the screen time. And I'm like, here's the COVID schedule. This is the schedule we need to follow. So, we've been trying to do a very strict schedule, or else we cannot get our work done. But I hear what you're saying, Scott. It is such an awesome opportunity that your kids are here with you. You're actually being able to teach them some things, and sometimes it's really fun, and sometimes it's like, I don't know that math. You're in 3rd grade.
So I have 2 stepkids that I haven't seen for over 2 weeks.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't know if we're going to have them this weekend like we're supposed to. So hearing you guys talk about this, it's making me so sad, because I'm missing them so much.
Oh my gosh, you need to drink more wine or
they're so much fun, and I just miss being with them, and I don't know what they're up to. I know they were on spring break for 1 week, and last week they were doing video classes and stuff online, and so I don't even know how they're handling it, because I haven't seen them or talked to them. So
how old are they?
12 and 8.
12 and 8, yeah.
Yeah, 2 girls.
Oh, it's special. That's sweet that you miss them.
Yeah, and it's tough. I
want them to hang out and play Legos with me.
Dude, playing Legos is the best. That's why we had kids. play Legos.
But I have like my Legos separate from their Legos. Like, no, you guys can't touch these.
It's got a situation. Are you planning on reading the instruction manual for this one? Because if you're not, then you can't touch it.
Right.
It needs to be done a certain way. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just get this up. Yeah, I can agree. So my undergrad is in education. And so I taught mostly pre-kindergarten and kindergarten, but was certified up to 5th grade. And so it's like I'm having to pull out those old teacher tricks and remembering why I loved teaching so much. Now, I also was a teacher before I had my own kids, so that's a little different. But I'm remembering what I loved about it, and I'm remembering like watching each kid figuring out how they learn things and watching them get something, like all of a sudden it clicks and all that. But I think it goes back to that, yeah, just how quickly like we are scrambling. Like it was like, well, all of a sudden out of nowhere, I wasn't expecting this to happen, and the teachers are trying so hard to pump out material and like so many emails. And I don't know if your schools use Class Dojo, so many Class Dojo messages. It's just they're trying so hard.
But that's also what was so overwhelming for me last week was like, I know you're all trying so hard. And like, so my one son's in 7th and my daughter's in 3rd. And like, I counted on the first day. I was like, I have over 25 emails. And by the way, I'm slammed at work. I've got conference calls I'm supposed to be running. My daughter wants a snack. I've already fed them breakfast and it's like almost time for lunch. I had this moment on Thursday. My kids go to Catholic school and Logan has to memorize this prayer. And these prayers are hard, man, because it's not like normal speech.
It's like not contemporary English.
Yeah.
No, it's not like, but it's like, thy, the, blah, 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 spirit and all this stuff, right? And I'm sitting here on a call and Logan's over here like almost in tears because it's due by the end of the day. And I just had to tell work, I'm like, I got to take care of this. But there was a moment where I was just like, this just isn't going to get done. But he's the type of kid that's like, that's unacceptable. He's a very responsible, like, we got to get this done. So finally, after I told him, I literally told him, I said, go play video games. Like,
go rot your brain, please.
And I said, now come back. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And when he got it, because he had to video himself and then send it on Google Classroom to his teacher.
As one does.
Is it right? So he gave it like 3 tries, kept messing up, and I'm just like, I'm sitting here, this is never going to happen. He's never going to get this. And so he's in 7th grade, so he doesn't want me to like even like look at him, And when he got it,
one of those.
Yeah, I waited for him to hit stop. I ran over and we just started jumping around the kitchen. And it was like the most amazing moment because it was like, we did it. We freaking did it. I mean, so you get those triumphs, but it was a stressful day. Let's that way. So, and Lauren, I'm sorry we're telling all these stories because listen, I haven't had my kid for like 3 days or whatever it's been, 3 or 4 days, and I hate it, man. I hate it so much. I miss them terribly. So I know what that's like. So
yeah, hopefully I'll get to see him soon.
Start a podcast with them. Get Skype.
Nice.
I'm serious. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Put that on Speaksies, but anyway.
Well, one thing that I've been thinking a lot about that I'm worried won't continue. All the compassion that we have for each other right now.
Yeah.
And like the environmental effects of all of us being in quarantine, like there's fish again and like the canals in Venice and like pollution in China's cleaning up and and like we're checking on our neighbors and we're making sure everybody has everything and we're just being so much more compassionate. And I'm worried that like the second this quarantine thing is over that we're gonna like forget all of that. Like I want this to change humanity for the better.
Yeah. I hear that.
And I worry that it's not permanently.
I want so badly to believe that it will stick, but I don't know.
I feel like we've had so many lessons in history that people probably said the same thing, like this is going to change humanity. This is what it's going to take to make us have a collective consciousness. And then, we're back to beeping at each other and honking because you took my parking space. And
yeah, when it comes down to it, all human are garbage.
Yeah, I
Okay, that's the show, everybody. Good job. All humans are garbage.
and on that horrible.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Allie. You were saying something.
Oh no, it wasn't me. I was just laughing.
Oh no, I just
Erin. No.
Aaron was saying something.
The sport with the quarantine, we're gonna figure it out. I think that it's awesome because everyone, like, I feel, and I think most people feel the collective like energy right now. Like, I think we all feel, not to get too like woo woo, but the same vibration on earth right now, right?
Yeah.
Like kindness, the compassion, this like positivity in the midst of chaos. We all feel the panic together. We all feel the stillness together. But yeah, I think there is a fear too of, like you said, Lauren, what's going to happen after this? Are we all just, because there's part of us that probably don't want to go back to being overscheduled and overworked. And there's, some of this is kind of nice where we don't have to rush our kids to soccer every day,
So
or
much driving. Yeah.
Haircut, go to this, go to this, go to that. And getting back to basics has been kind of a refreshing thing. So there's that part too. Like, what are our daily lives going to go back to? And do we want them to go back to the same thing? Like, if you guys had to say, what am I going to do differently when this is over? What are you going to do differently? What have you learned from this experience so far that will change your own life?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
I think for me, it's like the first thing that comes to mind is being more involved in my kids' school. I know that sounds weird, but like I let their mom do all of that. Like, to be totally honest with you, like, I mean, I would help them with their homework if it came to that, but she always knew the teachers. I didn't really know the teachers. She always knew all this stuff. So I'm like, having this experience has made me enjoy that. So I'm going to try to be more involved in that type of stuff. I think the other thing is, and this isn't necessarily me, but just in general, I think the working from home thing has been sort of on the like precipice of being more than norm over the last few years anyway. I think this is going to really shift that to where it will never go back to how it was. We'll be working from home, not always, but a lot more than we used to. Last thing I'll say is I really do miss my coworkers too, and my friends at work. And so I'll probably not take that for granted as much. And like, I don't know what that means. This is getting really corny. Okay, somebody else.
No, it's true though.
But I miss my buddies at work bad. I'm like,
my dog has decided to join the conversation.
Oh,
this is Chewy. Chewy, say hi.
Good boy.
Well, and the funny thing I've thought about him a lot. I mean, as silly as it seems, like, he's a dog. He's just doing the same old thing. He's just doing his own little routine. He's probably wondering why the humans are home all the time. Like, but he's just doing his thing. He's totally, as far as I can tell, oblivious to what's going on, which is a funny thing because it's changed everybody else's lives. I don't know. I want to believe that on the flip side of this, and Lauren, this is to some degree what you're talking about. Like, I want to believe that we'll be selective about what we let back in and not just go like the elastic band will just snap right back and we'll just be back door. Like, I hope we'll be at least we'll consider a little bit of what we're allowing back in. Maybe that's wishful thinking. And so that our choices are more intentional as opposed to just, and this past year, I'm not really a big New Year's resolution gal, but I'm more like, if I think of something I'm going to do, I'm going to do it, like, regardless of what the calendar says or not do. But I was trying, my focus this year was doing more things with intention. So instead of, spending time doing something completely useless, like this color by number game that I have on my phone that I just sit there and like tap like a mindless zombie. But, but just or intending to waste time. I mean, just being intentional, making a choice in how I'm approaching everything in my day, as opposed to just going. That's the flip side of having my dog nearby. Just deciding what I'm going to do with my time, deciding with whom I'm going to interact, deciding, all those sorts of things instead of just hobbling along.
Yeah.
As another kid saying goodnight.
Yeah, it's I think there's this hope in all of us. It doesn't matter, whether you loved your fast-paced life beforehand and can't wait to get back to it. Like, I feel like everyone's got to be taking a step back and saying, like, okay, maybe there's some things in my life that weren't working before. Like, I know for me, I felt like I was rushed from thing to thing to thing to thing because I had to limit my hours with work, and then I picked up the kids, and then I and there was a lot of rushing around that I feel like, while things are a little bit crazy right now, I don't have that rush of going places, and that's been really nice. And
so,
like,
Erin, have you had the experience that I've had of like kind of glad stuff is canceled, right? Like,
yes.
I'm looking at my calendar.
I
like,
don't have to shuttle people
deleting
all over creation. That's so sad.
Deleting events out of that calendar feels great.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I hope this doesn't go that far, but if it does, I don't have to do that. Like,
right, exactly. Like,
meeting gone, another meeting gone.
The one thing that broke my heart to delete out of my calendar was my sister turns 50 next month, and we were supposed to go out to see her and have this big 50th birthday celebration, and now we can't go.
Womp womp.
And I don't.
How's she handling that?
I haven't talked to her a ton, but I think she's pretty bummed out. And like at the time, she was like, "Well, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks after, we'll be able to reschedule it, or something." And it's looking like that's not going to get to happen either.
Yeah, but how much of this is that reminds me of something I was going to say earlier. Like, Allie was talking about, well, we can't do this gig, and then we realized we can't do this, and it's like that slow, gradual disappointment. It's almost like being at an airport, and it's like, this is going to be delayed 30 minutes, and you're like, I can deal with that.
All right, I can do 30
And then
minutes.
it's like 2 hours, and you're like, I'll get a couple of drinks, and then it's like that. You're like, I'm still going on this trip, damn it. And then it's like, you're not going on that trip. And you slowly have to absorb that.
Why am I alive?
Yeah, you're like, okay, this is pretty bad. Like,
and
I'm not getting my deposit back on this trip or whatever.
Yes. Don't book through Hotwire. Oh my gosh, my aunt booked a trip to Italy through hotwire.com, not getting a cent back.
You're kidding.
Oh, that's not right.
Beware when
I
you
also
book on
had a
those
very
places.
bad experience with Expedia one time. It
Yes,
had nothing to do with coronavirus, but it was awful. If you try to get anything changed, may the force be with you. It was really bad.
It's terrible. And some people are like, getting married. Are they getting their money back? Are they, I don't know. There's all these like details and small details of everyone's lives that you hear about when you're on the street 6 feet away from a neighbor being like, hey, how's it going? And having to reschedule things and is one thing, but not being able to get your money back on things and financial implications for that and so many other things I'm not even thinking about that I can't take on that mental load it's just devastating. And I think at one point, like at what point are people going to start getting angry? Like I hope it doesn't happen, but I feel like, we were supposed to go on a couple of trips for spring break. I was supposed to take the kids, mine are asleep now, to Disney as a surprise. So they don't know. They weren't not going to go. And so we haven't told them. And so, ignorance is bliss, I guess, in that situation. But like, I've just kind of been accepting. Like, I feel like there's going to be a point where
you'll be like, I've had it.
I hate this. I was supposed to go to Disney and I'm going to cry about it now. That's going to happen.
So what's going to be fun and interesting, and that's why I'm glad and again, thanks everybody for doing this on really short notice. It'll be interesting to see where this goes because we're early on in this thing probably, to look back on these naive conversations we're having right now. Or gosh, we were so doom and gloom and everything's okay.
Wasn't that bad?
And Allie's playing at Innsbruck, and we're all gonna go.
Yeah, you better.
You know, have a post-corona
Rockin' time.
But
Corona, yeah,
we just don't know. It's crazy.
it is crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think, Erin? We good? We got any more we want to talk about, or we want to wrap this baby up?
Yeah, I think it's just, our next conversation in whenever we do this, so a week or whatever, I feel like it's going to be such a different mentality. I don't know. I don't know what's going to change because it feels like everything's changing by the minute. So
Yep,
I'm sure there's
constantly.
going to be a whole new group of issues, a group of topics to talk about, and maybe we'll be more positive, maybe we'll be more angry, maybe I'll be wearing my Disney shirt I was supposed to wear because I'm not a Disney person, but damn if I didn't embrace the Disney wear. I was so ready. So I might have to wear it next time. But
Well, that's the beauty of Disney wear. You don't have to go to Disney to wear Disney wear.
Oh, heck
so
I kind of do, but
oh yeah. Well, all right. Well, we will do this again. Thank you guys so much.
yeah,
And
thank you.
I really do appreciate y'all doing this so quickly, and hope you'll come back and do it again.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Absolutely.
I get nervous when she's near. Is it something in the atmosphere?
Speaksies.